Hello, 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 awesome authors. It is wonderful to be with you, and I am thrilled to have my KCN or Kingdom Communicators Network. uh, I don't even know if friends are the right word.
Posse.
My posse.
Yes.
These are just a wonderful group of people that I am so happy that I get to introduce to you this evening. For me, it's evening in the UK. I know we are all time zones here present on this Zoom call tonight. So yeah, that's wonderful. So you have written your manuscript. Now, what do you do next? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to just start by introducing everybody and letting them just tell you a little bit about themselves. And then we can talk a little bit about how KCN came to be and what it is that we actually help you with. So I'm going to start by introducing Tammy Hernandez. She is just the most wonderful person. She is a mama bear, self or home educating mom, and author of a beautiful book called Soul Believes. If you haven't read a copy of that, then you need to get that book. It is amazing. Tammy is like the glue that holds this group together, really. She oversees every single project we do. She is a mama bear. She is a fighter. She fights the battles for us that we don't want to fight ourselves. She really is amazing, and she knows so much about self-publishing. So Tammy, can you tell us a little bit about you, your family, where you're from, and what you love about KCN?
Yes, I love these girls. I don't think in any way, shape, or form I'd be where I am in my publishing and my author career if it weren't for these ladies, because I would have quit, because there were times that I was like, yeah, I'm done. So they're amazing. And to be able to do life with these ladies is such a treat. And we help each other to this day. And so I'm on my third book. It's a children's book. I've done a workbook, Soul Beliefs, and a Soul Beliefs book. And I just finished my first children's book. So I still need these ladies. I still run to Shirley, please look at it, edit it, make sure it's okay. I mean, we just help each other. So we took what we were doing and started to do it for everybody else. So I think I'm getting sidetracked. That's not where we want to go right now. I'm a mom of 4. I love my kids, and I've had 2 more bonus kids since then that my kids have married. I love my husband of 30 years, and I live in beautiful, beautiful Colorado. And I think that's about it.
Oh, awesome. Next, I'm going to introduce our chief editor and just other mother of our group, the beautiful Shirley. She's also pastor of Lighthouse Christian Church. Did I say that right? And in the process of writing her book. So Shirley, do you want to tell us a little bit about you?
Sure. I'm a pastor. I'm also a mother, a grandmother, and recently a great-grandmother.
Awesome.
So my background is education, 30 years as an educator and a literacy specialist part of that time. And I can see where God has moved me down the line to this point of teaching in church and teaching and discipling others, which is what we all do. But yes, I live in beautiful Arkansas, hills, mountains, streams, lots and lots of trees. And my family is all here except one granddaughter who lives in Tennessee, which isn't too far. So yeah, and I am so blessed and so thankful to have gotten to be a part of this group. I love these ladies with all my heart, and my book is going to be completed soon, but it would not have been without the support of these 3 ladies. it just wouldn't have been good. This is truly a God thing, bringing us together.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited about that book, Shirley. So I would ask everybody to keep your eye out for that book. It's going to be just amazing. And I just want to say as well, I have worked with several editors. Shirley is by far the most thorough and amazing. She picks up everything. I love her work. She is my favorite editor that I've ever worked with. I am so proud of the books that she's edited, because, you know, sometimes you can find lots of mistakes still, because it's hard. Editing is the hardest job, and you will find, even going through several editing processes, there's always one little thing or tiny little thing that gets away. I don't know how she does it, but I have not yet found an editing mistake in a book that she's edited for me. So yeah, I just have to shout out, because that's awesome. And then we have the beautiful, gorgeous Andrea, who is everything formatting and so much more. She is such a huge encourager and just beautiful person, and I'm so blessed to know. Andrea, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So, as Meliza said, my name is Andrea. I'm originally from New Jersey, but I live in Florida now. I love Florida, definitely a Florida girl. I love the beach. I also love the mountains, but I prefer to wake up at the beach. So I visit the mountains, wake up at the beach. I do have a full-time job as a project manager, and I train and do all those types of things as a day job. But God had put it on my heart to write a book a long time ago. And I don't think I have one published book called A Journey. I don't think I've written the book yet. I think that's to come. But I know it will come. It's just the phase of life that I am in. Right now, it's kind of on hold. But these three ladies have just been amazing. I never gave up on writing because of them. And there's a lot of lessons that I think we all have learned over the last 3 years. I know definitely that I have, and it's allowed me to learn what publishing looks like, and how, you know, what needs to get done, what matters, what doesn't matter, and kind of how to know to ask the right questions. So I think this is why I love this group, because we all went on that journey together and we learned so much. And we want to help other people who were us. Like, we were a certain way pre our publishing journey. And we want to help people who were in that position. You know, they have the same questions, the same concerns, have no idea what to do. And we get to bring you not just theory, but experiential knowledge, and be able to be honest with you, you know, what's worth it, what's not worth it, what to focus on, not to focus on. So, you know, that's me. And I'm a very process person. So if you haven't been able to tell by my intro, I'm a very process person. Formatting is something that I learned how to do. I've been doing it, I think, Meliza, like a year-ish, I think.
I'm sure it's longer than that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, but I mean for books, you know, getting better at it. And I've learned that every book has its own personality, its own style. And I really love that part of it, because then like when I work on a book, I'm not just doing the same thing again. It's, you know, each book is individual. It's like a baby, and it has its needs. And I'm learning how to draw that out of the author to make sure that they're getting the best out of what I provide.
That is so cool. So cool. And it leads so beautifully into what I wanted to share this evening as well, because this morning, as I was sitting eating pancakes with my husband, we were watching a YouTube clip of these marathon runners, and they were showing a particular, and I have to apologize because I am probably not going to do it justice to tell you what I saw, because I'm not very sporty. So I'm going to do it in the little bit of language that I have to explain what I saw. But I was watching this marathon runner, and he is a gold medal champion Olympic runner. And he has this team of people. I didn't realize that that actually happens in a marathon, because you think that a marathon is about one person running on their own to break the record, right? Or to get to the end goal, to get to the finishing line. But this runner was surrounded by a team of people. He had a team on his side, on both sides. He had somebody running alongside him, keeping the pace. And he had people running in front of him to block the resistance of the wind so that he could run easier. And I think he had people at the back as well, but he was literally surrounded by a team of people, and their goal was to get him to the finishing line in the shortest amount possible. And I looked at my husband and I said to him, that's what we do at KCN. That's exactly what we do, is we come alongside you. The race isn't about us. The race is about getting you to the finishing line in the shortest amount of time possible, with the least resistance as possible. Because let me tell you, all four of us have felt the resistance, right? We know what to expect. We know what it feels like when you get to that obstacle or that hurdle, or you get the wind like right in your face, and the race becomes hard. And the temptation, you've heard it from all three of these ladies, the temptation is to give up. I can say the same thing. If it wasn't for this amazing team of people, I would have packed up long ago and said, it's not worth it. So I wanted to introduce this team to you guys as well, so that you know that we are here to help you with the self-publishing process. I know the word is self-publishing, but just like it, doesn't take one guy. Who knew? It doesn't take one guy to win a marathon. It takes a team. In the same way, it doesn't take one person to self-publish their book. It takes a team. If you have a team, you can do it on your own. That's absolutely fine. You can do that on your own. We did navigate a lot of the process by ourselves, and then shared what we've learned with each other. And I can tell you from experience, it'll take longer, it'll feel harder. But if you have a team of people who can run with you and get you to the end goal, get you to the finishing line, it makes the process so much easier. So yeah, I wanted to share that with you. So I want to just talk a little bit about what happens when your manuscript is finished. What is the next stage if you wanted to, make a decision on how you want to go forward? Do you want to publish traditionally? Do you want to self-publish, or do you want to do a hybrid, go with a hybrid publisher? So just as a general rule, I would say that if you don't have a large audience, if you don't already have a mailing list and a lot of people who are interested, a lot of followers on your social media, it's very difficult to get into traditional publishing, because a traditional publisher will want to see that you have the ability to sell that book. They may pay for a lot of the costs of publishing your book, like editing and design, cover design, formatting, all of those things. However, unless you sell a certain amount of copies of your book, you very often will have to pay back what they have invested in your book if your book doesn't sell. So there is a huge risk involved in it. Then you have the hybrid publishing, where you pay people up front to publish your book for you. They again will take care of the editing, the formatting, the design, all of that, but you have to pay them a certain amount, and it's usually a fairly large amount. It may include books, it may include some marketing aspects, but from what we have experienced, sometimes it can be a very long process. You don't always know where you are up to, because they have usually a large group of people who are going through the publishing process at the same time. And unless they are super on top of their communication, you don't really know where you are at most of the time in that publishing process. It's a long waiting game. It's very difficult to plan things like planning a launch, or because you just don't know where your book is at, how long it's going to take to be finished, and all of those wonderful things. And then you have self-publishing, where you can publish your book on your own. What I love about self-publishing, and I'll get everybody to share what, you know, their journey with self-publishing, but what I love about it is the freedom it affords you. You know, with traditional publishing, they do have a lot of input in your book, so there is a chance that you may lose a little bit of your voice or the message that you are trying to communicate. Self-publishing allows you the freedom to say what you want to say in a way that you want to say it, and to do it in a time that suits you. You are in complete control of that process most of the time. So what we do as a team is we do not publish on your behalf. We're not a publisher. We're not a hybrid publisher. We are a group of people who help you self-publish your book, so that you don't have to figure all of that technical process out all by yourself. So I'm going to just talk very briefly through the process, and we'll go from one person to the next. I'm going to ask Tammy to start, because the first thing that will happen if you approach KCN, you've written your manuscript, the very first thing is that that manuscript will go to Tammy. So Tammy, do you want to tell us what the next steps are, and where we go from there?
Sure. What I love that we do is that we are very customized.
Yeah.
We take every single author as a unique situation. And that's what we have found. Every single author that we've worked with has either had some similarity. Some of them had very similar situations, but they all had something that was very unique. And so when we get your manuscript, we want to meet with you. We want to know what your vision is. We want to know all these details, because if we can find out what you want and what you need, then we can personalize our services. Because you could say, oh, they're just editing. Oh, they're just this. They're just formatting. No. That's not what we do. We do it very personalized. So we get your manuscript. We want to meet with you. We want to talk with you. We want to find out what your plan is, because there's so many decisions that have to be made early on, that if we can know where you're headed, it will save us time and you money and you time, because we'll know what to avoid. For instance, you might tell us right from the beginning that you want to be on multiple platforms. You want to be in libraries. You want to be wide, is so that what they call it. That's going to save us and you time and money to get you in the right direction right off the bat. So the more information we know from the beginning, the more precise we can move forward in our planning. And then after you've made the decision, we build that specialized proposal for you, and we present that to you. You decide. And if you decide, you know what, yeah, I want this and this, but you know what, we're going to drop that step in the proposal. Great. We just write your new proposal and we provide you what you've made a decision on. And then we dive in and we get working on what it is you're going to be. So for instance, if you have already brought an edited manuscript to us, then you're not wasting time going through the editing process. We're going to get you moving in the other directions. We're going to get you working with Andrea for formatting. We're going to get you working with your book cover. So everybody's situation looks different, but our big thing is we'll meet from the beginning and we'll tell you what you can expect. And we will communicate that to you. I stay on top of that, and I want you to know where your stuff is. And that's what I think is unique about us, is we're all authors. We've all been in this situation to some degree or another. We know what it feels like to give our baby to somebody and then not know if that baby's even been left in the crib. You know what I mean? And not taken care of. And I know that there's a certain part of that is going to happen no matter what. But gosh, it sure is nice to have authors who understand, please just give me an update. I want to know, how's my baby doing? Where are we? And that's a big, big plus. So then we get you rolling and we keep communicating with you throughout the whole process.
And one of the things that I really love, just coming back to the running picture, is you have a group of people running with one person. A lot of times when you go through a publishing company, you've got, you know, a lot of people running and a few people looking after them. But we adopt a different model. We run with you all the way to the finishing line before we run with the next person all the way to the finishing line, right? So we don't take on too many people that we can't run with you all the way to the end, or we don't know exactly where you are up to. Okay, so once you've got your proposal and you're happy with all the services that we are offering and you're ready to go, your manuscript will go to Shirley. So Shirley, do you want to tell us a little bit about the editing process? What does that look like?
If they choose editing as part of their choice, we will take the manuscript first and read over it and look at what your dream is for it, and then I have a one-on-one meeting with the author. We all do, actually, in each stage of the process, but it'll come to me first if you want editing. That's it, from Tammy to me. And I will go over it with you and encourage you to make sure that you have it organized the way you want it. You have it laid out, not formatted, but at least organized the way you want it. Scriptures where you want them, and you know, decide how you want that laid out, how you want to present each part of it, and just talk to you about your dream, your thoughts for your book. And I will go through the process. I do two types of editing. I do line editing, which means I check it for readability, flow, clarity. Does it make sense? Could we change some sentences here or move something into a different paragraph? And I do copy editing, which is the grammar part, spelling, you know, punctuation. So that when we're finished, that part of it, you have an easy to read, an easy to understand story or narrative or whatever you're writing for your audience. But I keep in touch with the author through the whole process. I keep updated. I check in with them about, you know, what do you think about this? Did you mean to whatever? You know, we come, like Meliza said, we come along beside you. We don't leave you. Just take your work and you won't hear from us. No, we are in constant contact with you.
Yeah, awesome.
If I can jump into what I absolutely love that you do, Shirley, is I want the safety net of an expert telling me that this is probably the way it should be done. But if I have something that really means something to me that I want to say, no, I really do want that in there, you give them that opportunity, which I think is like fantastic. I want you to tell me, hey, this sounds this way, that's not really good, and make me know I'm aware of it. But ultimately, when it comes right down to it, if there is something that's a deal breaker, I love that you allow the author to keep that in or change it and stuff. So that's a really big thing.
I don't make changes in their book. I make suggestions, unless it's an already pre-agreed upon something like, you know, if there are too many spaces, go ahead and take those out. You know, there are some things that the author is fine with you cleaning up a little bit for them. But as far as changing the wording or changing the way it's organized, no, that is always left up to the author.
Shirley, how long does it normally take? I know every manuscript is different and it will depend on the size and the quality of the manuscript. And I actually just want to say as well on this point, make sure you get your manuscript proofread through several people before you submit it for editing, because it'll save you a lot of time. And I know, you know, most editors, including us, charge by the hour. So, you know, you want to make sure that your manuscript is as tidy and as perfect as you can get it before you submit it to editing. So on average, how long does it take? Because the other thing to know is that editing takes time, doesn't it? So there will be a period of time where, you know, you're gonna have to be a bit patient and wait for that editing process to be completed.
Yes, and it's determined by the size of the book, how many, you know, there are a lot of scriptures in it that have to be checked on to make sure they weren't put in the wrong scripture. That takes a lot more time. Everything has to be double checked. So it just depends. I try to set a limit of 8 weeks, try to get a manuscript back. But if I see, and this hasn't happened yet, but if I see it might take me a little bit longer, I'm in constant contact with that author. So they know where I am in the process and what is going on. But I try to set a limit of 8 weeks, have it back to them for that first pass.
We will be very clear in our communication in terms of what that timing will be. And we are committed to do what we promise within the time that we have promised to do it. So you will know how long the process will be, and you will also know you'll have a deadline. So you know your book will be done by a certain time. Right, so the book has been edited. So usually while we're editing, we can start working on your cover. And that's one of the things that I love to do, is I love to talk to you about your vision for your book. We talk about brand, and I can even help you with some of the basic social media stuff around your book. But we will get a cover designed that you are happy with. So what I normally do is I get your vision. I have a conversation with you. I've got some questions that I want you to answer. And then we talk about your cover. I'll come back to you with a few options that you can look at, usually about 3. And then you can decide, what do you love? What do you not like? And I will go make some tweaks. We'll have another conversation and have a look at them. And then I'll do a few more final tweaks. I think one of the important things to know when you're self-publishing is that sometimes getting all the sizes and the places like perfectly right for where your titles and things need to be, that can be quite tricky. And there is sometimes when you upload your cover, there will be some changes that needs to be made. So I'm usually present when you do upload your manuscript and your cover, so I can make all those changes for you when they need to be done. Sometimes it's literally just a 1 millimeter or 2 size issue that needs to be made, or something needs to be shifted to fit into their little box. But yeah, that's something that I love to do. So we can start working on your cover whilst you're waiting for editing, which is nice. It's a bit of a time saver. Yeah. And then once you have your cover and you have your edited manuscript, we hand it over to Andrea. So Andrea, tell us a little bit about the formatting process.
Sure. So if you're new to this whole publishing thing, what is formatting? Formatting is basically, it's not even just formatting, it's the entire interior layout of your book. So it's the meat of the product, right? It's your heart in black and white and the way it's going to look at. So one of the things that I wanted to emphasize, and I didn't want to interrupt Shirley, so I figured I'd wait till it was my turn, is really the importance of editing, because I have worked on quite a few books. And as a formatter, I don't edit. And it's really hard to go through a book that I'm formatting and see errors. And errors with books that were edited. So don't skimp on the editing. Don't try and do it yourself. I speak from personal experience. Really, it's something worth investing in, is the editing. The interior layout is something that people are going to spend more time looking at. So the book cover is important because it's what attracts attention. And Meliza is really great at visualizing something and putting it on the screen and having the graphics. And then the inside of the book is where people are going to spend their time. So having it look consistent and professional, or if it's a kid's book, right, there's kind of a heart behind the book. So we have the words, we have the covers, and then the inside also has a little bit of personality, I've learned. So making sure that the inside of the book matches the cover, that everything's consistent is very important. And consistency is more important than you think, because when the reader is going through your book, they want to feel like they know where they're going. And if each chapter doesn't have a similar concept, even font size and bolding and things like that, it's harder to follow. So those types of things are very important. It's something that I look at. We go through things like, I'm going to ask you, what's the book size that you want? Because there's quite a few to pick from. I can give you suggestions based on your word count, what kind of book it is, things like that. We also have font size. How do you want your paragraphs to look? Do you want it indented or not indented? And I can tell you what the custom is based on the type of book you have. Fiction, nonfiction, children's book, they all have a little bit of a uniformity when it comes to it. You know, what's the norm for there? We have graphics that we can do, but that, you know, that's something that we would talk about. What's the experience you want the reader to have? Do you want them, like some people want books where they can write notes in, some people want some graphics in there and pictures. That's all possible. So the editing is important, because I have formatted books where I saw editing and I had to, you know, close my eyes and just not fix it. I keep you like everyone else here. It's a commitment that we all made when we came together, was communication, 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 integrity, timeline. So we tell you how long we think it's going to take. And if it's going to take longer, the goal is that you never ask us where it is. We come to you before you even think to ask. So if it's going to be late, you will know about it well before, and it's something that's agreed. So that's very important to me. Talk, have communication. One thing that I will say, and it's something that I did not find in even editing covers, interior layout, is when you find a mistake, and it's probably a personality trait of mine, tell whoever is working on it. So if I missed something in the layout, maybe there's an extra space or something's in the wrong line, tell me, tell whoever is working on it. Don't, and even if you're not going through us, like, if someone is working on your baby, make sure that it's looking the way you want. That's our job. My job is to make sure that I'm giving you the best quality product. So if there's an extra space, I want to know about it, because I want to make sure that your book doesn't have that extra space in it. It's okay to say, you missed something, Andrea, and I'll go in. Doesn't matter how many times. And then, like Meliza brought up, I had this note too. When we're uploading the manuscript, just like with the cover, there's times where it finds something. Maybe for some reason it's happened. I don't know how, because I use software, but it's like in the margin the wrong way, or something is a little off, and then we can tweak it, and we will do that as many times as necessary until the book uploads successfully. So that's really the formatting process. And in the end, you will receive the PDF version. You will receive, which is for print books. You will receive an EPUB version if that's part of your proposal, and you get the Kindle, like a e-reader. That's EPUB. They usually have to be an EPUB. And you will always have a Word version, because per our experience, a lot of times you receive back only the PDF version. And what happens is, if you ever want to update the book, make a change, do another edition, you're going to have to go through the entire process again, because you cannot take a PDF and republish. Because if that were the case, everyone would go out, get PDFs, and publish other people's books. So the whole point of a PDF is that it's a non-editable format. So I give you your book, your final book in Word, so that if you ever need to go do another edition and you don't want to do it through me, maybe you want to go through someone else, or you learned how to do it yourself, or whatever the case is, you have this. All of the products that we give you at the end, it's yours. We, like Meliza said, we're helping you get to your goal. And in the end, you're the one with the medal. So we give everything to you and it's all yours. And that's the beauty of KCN. Once we finish, we celebrate you, we help you, and then you go off and, you don't owe us anything. And you can go off and do whatever you need, and we'll cheer you along the way,
Yes.
looking for your success.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I didn't get, I hybrid published. I never was asked about formatting, how I wanted it to look. Did I want to design? So that's something that's not traditional, which is super cool that they get to pick that and talk to you about it and see what they like. So that's a really nice thing.
Yeah, because the book has personality, and
Yeah.
we're working on a book now. We're asked Meliza, did you work on the cover? Because I wanted to see the cover to make sure that what I'm doing on the inside matches. You don't want let's say a casual cover and then have a professional interior, or vice versa, right? You want to make sure that's matching. And I think when all of it, like we all meet, we discuss the books, right? We make sure that we're giving you the most professional end product possible. We really, really value that. And like I said, I mean, we have experiential knowledge. So we took all the things that we wanted as authors, and you mentioned this too, Tammy. We took all the things we would have liked as authors, and that's what we offer, right? To make sure that you're getting what you need, with authenticity, honesty, right? And integrity.
Yeah. And having been that we've already ran this race, we know what's coming up. We know at some point you're going to want to think about social media. We know that at one point you're going to want to think, do I want to do an audio book? Where am I going to publish? Am I going to only go with Amazon? Am I going to go off Amazon? And nowadays there's multiple choices, even outside of Amazon. And so these are just things that we've already walked through that we can say, hey, let's be thinking about this. And if you come back in a year from now and you're like, now I'm ready to do the audiobook. Great. It's not like you have to do it all right now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I'm going to add, Meliza, really quick. I know we're going to have to get off here soon, but for someone who saw what you saw this morning and is not experienced in it, you did a really good job, because I am. So I know that. And this past weekend, I just volunteered at an ultra race. So there was a 6-hour and a 12-hour. Ultra marathon running's a little bit different, but very similar concept to what you were saying. And I was one of the volunteers, and each runner has a crew, and you have an area for yourself. And every runner at the end, if you read their posts after and stuff, every single person thanked all the volunteers and the crew and the staff, because you really can't do something worth doing on your own. A lot of times you really need people around you. It's not that you can't do it, but why would you make it harder for yourself? Like I had to learn that lesson. Why make it harder on yourself trying to do it alone when you could surround yourself with people who have a lot to offer you so that you can give your best, Yeah.
That's such a great point to end on. Absolutely. You've beautifully summarized it. I am so grateful for this team. I do nothing on my own when it comes to publishing. I am here and doing what I am doing because of these amazing people in my life. So I'm super blessed to have you, and thank you so much for joining me in this group today. And if you have a manuscript that you're ready to publish, there will be a link in the comments and in the description where you can find all the details. There's an email address where you can send us your manuscript. There's also a form, a link that you can complete. We will put all of the information in the comments and the description as soon as we've stopped this live broadcast. So you will know where to find us, how to find us, and we can get the ball rolling. We are so excited about every book that comes our way. And we've seen some amazing manuscripts, and we know God is moving. And I just want to say, I salute you for saying yes to your call to write, for showing up, and for stewarding the message that God has given you. So thank you very much for being here, and have a wonderful night. Bye.